Welcome again everyone to another part in the Aquatic Cryptid series. My goal with this series is to cover basically all the aquatic cryptids out there, so there's still a few more parts to go, but I'll compile the whole thing into one, so make sure to stay tuned for that. In this part, we got aquatic cryptids that were used as protection against the recent pandemic, to a mysterious creature that caused villagers to completely stop fishing, and many more. Alright, let's get straight into it now with the first entry of Tier 1, Amabie. Amabie, an aquatic cryptid from Japanese folklore, is a pretty unique one since it was said to have prophetic abilities and had a great cultural impact over the centuries. This mermaid, or merman-like, was basically said to emerge from the sea to prophesy either an abundant harvest or an epidemic. And what sets Amabie apart is the belief that making and sharing images of it can protect against illness. Believe it or not, this tradition was used during the recent pandemic too, with people creating face masks, hand sanitizers, and everything related to Amabie. The accounts of mysterious beings, including Amabie, date back to ancient texts like the Kojiki, with such entities often serving to explain the unexplained or to convey moral or cautionary tales. The 1840s in particular saw a surge in sightings of creatures like Amabie, coinciding with the period of social and environmental upheaval in Japan. This era was marked by famine and social unrest, and for anyone that knows Japanese history, it was a significant political and societal change as the country transitioned from the Edo period to the Meiji Restoration, and this was super huge for Japan since samurai were completely abolished. The only sighting of the Amabie though that was recorded occurred in April of 1846 in the Higo province. Over several nights, a bright light emanated from the ocean. Upon investigation by a government official, a weird creature was discovered. It identified itself as an Amabie, predicting a 6-year bumper crop along with an impending disease outbreak. Furthermore, it conveyed that a depiction of itself would serve as a protection against the illness, which is probably where all the, face masks and everything created from. Lock Foil Monster. So this cryptid I actually couldn't find too much information about, but it's reputed to inhabit Loch Foyle, a large estuary that lies between County Londonderry in Northern Ireland and County Donegal in the Republic of Ireland. Even though there's not too much information available, I wanted to add this here because of the video associated with it. It's pretty popular, so I put it at the top of this list, and in the video the people sound genuinely convinced, at least to me, that it's a lake monster. I'll play a small clip with the audio and let me know what you guys think in the comments. Umibuzu. The Umibuzu, another creature from Japanese folklore, is often seen as a giant humanoid figure with a smooth bald head, which sort of resembles a Buddhist monk or sea priest. This sea spirit is known to emerge from calm seas and either breaks ships upon its emergence or demands a bucket or barrel from sailors, only to drown them after. The creature's origins are pretty mysterious though, with some tales suggesting it to be the enraged spirits of monks thrown into the sea, seeking vengeance against sailors by terrorizing them. There's a pretty recent encounter too that happened that I want to add, with an unidentified sea creature by the crew of the 28th Konpera Maru in April 1971 off the coast of Anagawa. This event, detailed in July 17 of the same year, describes a large creature with gray-brown wrinkles and notably large eyes, and about 15 centimeters in diameter. The creature, which lacked a visible mouth and possessed a collapsed nose, surfaced briefly, displaying only half of its body, which was estimated to be around 1.5 meters in length. The murky conditions, though, obscured the full extent of its form, leaving the observers to speculate that the total length of the creature could be several times greater than the portion observed. The fishermen prepared to engage the creature with a harpoon, but it vanished into the depths before they could even act. The incident prompted speculation from a research officer at the Enyo Susan Kenkyojo, who suggested that the sighting might have been a misidentification of a known marine organism, such as a fish or a whale. However, the size and the peculiar features reported by the crew, like a bald head and everything, didn't match any known species, casting doubt on this explanation and leaving the nature of the Umibuzu still open to interpretation. Kusi. Kusi, also known as Kushi, is another one that comes from Japan, but this one comes from Lake Kushiro in Hokkaido, Japan. Lake Usharo, the largest caldera lake in Japan and the 6th largest lake in the country, is within Akka National Park. It's known for its volcanic activity, hot springs, and the unique ecological environment provided by its acidic waters, which limit the variety of aquatic life that can thrive there. Witnesses have reported feeling uneasy or disturbed upon seeing the creature, which has been known to make strange grunting or clicking noises. Sightings of the kusi have been part of the lake's lore for decades too, with increased attention in the 1970s because of several high-profile encounters. In 1974 specifically, footage allegedly captured the creature moving across the lake at high speeds. That same year, a group of 15 witnesses described seeing a large animal with shiny, scale-like skin moving swiftly under the water. Another sighting too in 1988 was reported, involving Mr. Takashi Murata, who reported being paced by a large animal resembling a dolphin, which kept up with his motorboat before vanishing underwater. The Ainu people indigenous to the area have long told stories of giant snakes in the lake, and pioneers in the Meiji area reported similar sightings. Despite the harsh living conditions posed by the lake's acidic waters, these reports have really persisted, suggesting a creature that, if real, must be adapted to a highly specialized ecological niche. Despite extensive searches, including sonar investigations and efforts by TV crews and divers in the 1970s, conclusive evidence of kusi's existence is not all there. Pinatubo Monster. In 2002, the quiet Philippine village near the Tikis River, located in the Zambales region of Luzon Island, was propelled into a state of fear and fascination because of sightings of large serpentine creatures. These entities, referred to by the local Aida tribesmen as the monsters of Pinatubo, sparked widespread concern and nearly led to a crisis in the village, pushing it to a brink of starvation as the fishermen and their families were terrorized of something maybe lurking in the depths. The creatures were described as huge, black, and serpentine, similar in appearance to Florida's muck monster, yet unlike any known eel, fish, or snake familiar to the Aida people. The first notable sighting occurred on November 5, 2002, when a young Aida boy mistook one of the creatures for a floating log, only to be shocked as it suddenly moved. A significant encounter followed on January 12, 2003, with multiple eyewitnesses reporting a sighting of a 7-foot long and 3-foot wide black animal moving silently down the river. These sightings led to drastic measures within the Aida community to prevent potential harm. In Labuan, a village affected by these events, children were forbidden from bathing or playing in the water, and fishing activities ceased entirely. This led to a dire situation where the villagers had to rely on frogs as their primary source of protein. The Philippine Daily Inquirer published an article on January 14, 2003, where village councilmen Joel Serrano and Alfred Banos appealed to the government for assistance, requesting scientists to investigate the phenomenon. In response, Nelson Bien, a 43-year-old expert from the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources with experience in dealing with unusual aquatic creatures, was dispatched to the area. Despite initial investigation that suggested the creatures might be a large congregation of tilapia, which is a common fish, the explanation was met with skepticism. The villagers, accustomed to the river's fauna, found it implausible that they could mistake a school of tilapia for the large serpentine monsters they reported. Speculation arose that the creatures could be a mutation due to high mercury levels in the river, although this theory, along with the true nature of the monsters of Pinatubo, remains unverified. Barmouth Monster. The Barmouth Monster is a serpentine sea creature reported off the coast of Wales, mostly around the Menai Strait and the Mawadach estuary at Barmouth. Sightings date back to the 1800s, and descriptions of the Barmouth Monster vary, with some accounts portraying it as a serpentine beast and others liking it to a crocodile with impressively large footprints. Its length is estimated to be around 10 feet, with skin reminiscent of a dinosaur's, so I feel like this could have gone in the prehistoric video. The first recorded sighting occurred in 1805, where a sea serpent wrapped itself around a ship's mast, only retreating after an attack by the crew, yet eerily following the ship for 2 days. Another notable sighting in 1882 was detailed in a letter to Nature magazine, describing a large, fast-moving object with a snake-like or corkscrew motion spotted near the Londonderry Pier. What makes this account kinda interesting though is its attempt at a scientific observation, including independent sketches and a consensus on the creature's appearance and motion. Subsequent sightings include various reports of crocodile-like animals and dinosaur-resembling creatures near the estuary, with descriptions emphasizing long necks, square faces, and large eyes. Also, a significant modern sighting occurred too in 2016, when a pensioner captured a monster-like shape in the estuary of the River Aeron. Theories about the barmouth monster's identity range from a large seal, a European eel, an escaped crocodile, a surviving plesiosaur or tylosaur, an unknown species of fish, or simply a hoax. Our onto tier 2, Rusalka. In Slavic folklore, the Rusalka were conceived as benign spirits in pre-Christian Slavic paganism. They're believed to emerge in spring, blessing the fields with vital moisture to ensure a bountiful harvest. However, this view really contrasts with the more sinister portrayal now that emerged in the 19th century, which depicted Rusalki as malevolent spirits of women who met tragic ends. These ends were said to be mostly from taking their own life by drowning because of unhappy marriages or being victims of bad violence, forced to live out their destiny time on earth in a spectral form. These spirits could either seek vengeance to find peace or lure men into the depths with their beauty or enchanting voices, leading to the men's demise. Variations in Rusalka lore illustrate their adaptability within Slavic folklore, with some tales allowing these spirits more freedom, such as climbing trees, singing songs, or engaging in circle dances during specific times of the year, which is mostly in summer. Lake Kher Monster. The Kher Monster, a cryptid reported to inhabit Lake Kher in Yakutia, northwestern Russia, has some unique characteristics that set it apart from more commonly known aquatic cryptids. The creature, which was first mentioned in 1964 by G. Rokoslev, is described as having a snake-like head and a large fan on its back, which sort of align more with images of prehistoric dinosaurs rather than the aquatic monsters typically reported in lakes around the world. Sightings of the Khyber beast are scarce though, with one of the most notable accounts coming from N. Glandkik, who described an encounter with the creature one morning in November 1964. According to Gladkick, the beast was about 4 or 4.5 meters long, with the neck around 1.5 meters in length, a small flat head reminiscent of a snake, and a large dorsal fin. The dark blue skin and the sizable dorsal fan led to comparisons with prehistoric creatures, notably the Tyrannosaurus, rather than the more common comparisons like a plesiosaur. The explanation of the Khyber beast remains speculative though, with the initial reactions drawing parallels to known prehistoric creatures. There was even a 1965 expedition to Lake Kher, but failed to uncover any evidence of the beast, yet the local lore and the absence of typical fish and waterfowl in the lake suggest an unusual predator might inhabit these waters, possibly explaining the legend of the bullpike that could swallow a boat whole. However, the credibility of the Khyber beast sightings is complicated by N. Gladkick's admission that his story was in fact a hoax. This admission casts a doubt on the existence of the creature, so it's kind of between myth and potential reality. J. Rokoslev's silence on the matter further sort of complicates things, creating a situation where the Khyber beast is both a debunked myth and a cryptid at the same time. Diplocolus. The Diplocolus, an extinct genus of amphibians, thrived during the early to late Permian period and has unexpectedly found its way into modern cryptid lore through a series of alleged sightings and hoaxes. Despite prehistoric extinction, the Diplocolus has been reported to have been seen, photographed, or filmed in recent times. In November 2004, an article published in the Malta Times by Professor Patrick Sembi of the Department of Biology at the University of Malta brought to light photographs identifying a creature as a Diplocolus. However, he quickly concluded that the photos were in fact fake, given the Diplocolus extinction over 270 million years ago, speculating the creature in the photos was likely a model. Further adding to the mystery though, a sighting was reported near St. Joseph, Missouri on June 2, 2021. This report suggested the presence of the Diplocolus in a local pond, reigniting discussions and speculation about the possibility of its survival through the ages. However, investigations into the origins of the Diplocaulus images revealed that they were traced back to an amateur Japanese model maker who created the model in 1992 and submitted a photo of it to a magazine contest. This revelation categorized the Diplocaulus sightings as hoaxes, though they continue to interest many who are fascinated by the possibility of prehistoric creatures surviving into the modern era. Another sighting involved a video showing a pink Diplocaulus in a lake. While the creature exhibited minimal movement, its authenticity has been questioned, and though not officially debunked, it's widely considered to be a hoax. Fur-bearing trout. The fur-bearing trout, also known as the beaver trout or furry fish, is a creature that might have lived in the cold northern waters of North America, mostly around the Great Lakes region. This fish is said to have a thick coat of fur or hair, an adaptation that supposedly helps it survive in its frigid habitat. The legend of the fur-bearing trout can be traced back to Scottish settlers who emigrated to Canada in the 17th century. An anecdote tells of a settler who, in correspondence back home, marveled at the new lands of abundance of furred animals and fish, as he quoted. Upon request for evidence, he allegedly sent a specimen of this furred fish back to Scotland. This tale, whether fact or fiction, has embedded the fur-bearing trout in the folklore of the region, with the mountain specimens sometimes found as trophies on walls within the Great Lakes area. But the general consensus is that the myth of the fur-bearing trout is likely a blend of misinterpretation and imagination. A probable scientific explanation for the sightings of such creatures is the occurrence of saprolenia, which is a type of water mold that infects fish, especially trouts, giving them a furry appearance. This condition could easily spur tales of furry fishes among those unfamiliar with the disease. Also, the role of taxidermists in creating fur-covered trout specimens as novelties or hoaxes can't really be overlooked. The consensus among skeptics then and researchers is that the fur-bearing trout is in fact a hoax. Despite status as a hoax though, the fur-bearing trout has found its way into popular culture, appearing in television shows such as Chilly Willy and Earthworm Jim, and even being classified as an SCP. It also stands alongside what we know as the fearsome critters of North American folklore. Sepata Hunan Cave Horse Serpent. The Sepata Hunan Cave Horse Serpent is a cryptid from the depths of a cave in Bogor, Indonesia. Unlike many dragon myths that feature creatures with wings, the Sepata Hunan Cave Horse Serpent is described as having 4 limbs, but no wings at all. Its most distinctive feature, a horse-shaped head, aligns it with more various global dragon lore and also adds a different twist to its description. The cave, which is named Sepata Hunan, lies in the westernmost part of Bogor and is a dangerous place known to flood during rains. It houses a water source flowing inside, making it a challenging environment for exploration. An expedition by the Jejak Mysterious or Mysterious Tracks team in 2014 ventured into the cave, which is about 3 meters high and wide and estimated to be around 600 meters in length, although the team did not reach the end. During their exploration, the team encountered strange noises and the sound of something moving away from them. A pursuit of these sounds led them back to the cave's entrance, where they discovered fresh, wet tracks suggesting the presence of an unknown creature that had vacated the area. Given the scant evidence and the mysterious nature of the creature though, it's challenging to pinpoint exactly what the horse serpent could be. Local accounts suggest a terrestrial dragon with 4 limbs, living quietly within the confines of the cave. One theory proposes it could be a type of water monitor, which would be a plausible explanation concerning the cave's wet conditions. Alternatively, its reptilian appearance and unique horse-like head might suggest it's a cryptid similar to a living dinosaur, in an order that includes species like Iguanodon and Camptosaurus, known for their different head shapes. Iara. Iara, also known as Iara or the Mother of Water, is a figure from Brazilian mythology. This mermaid goddess, who reigns in the Amazon River, is seen as a guardian of the waters. In various descriptions, Iara's appearance is subject to regional interpretations. Some describe her as a blonde with green or blue eyes, while others envision her with black or entirely green hair and brown eyes. Regardless of these differences, Iara is universally acknowledged for her extraordinary beauty. The legend of Iara has evolved significantly over time though, from the malevolent male figure of Ipupiara, a fishman known for attacking fishermen, to the female entity known today. Iara emerged as a symbol of seduction and peril, luring men with her enchanting voice to their doom in the depths of the Amazon, which is a common theme in these. About her origins, one version recounts how Iara, a formidable warrior among her people, was turned into a mermaid by the moon goddess Jacy after being betrayed by her brothers. Iara's primary power lies in her irresistible song, capable of enchanting men and leading them to their demise in the river's embrace. Some legends suggest that just looking into her eyes can also cast a spell of madness or infatuation. However, her enchantment can be broken through rituals performed by a page. Iara has since transcended her mythical origins though to become a recurring figure in modern Brazilian media, from films and television series to comics and video games. These representations often explore her dual nature as both a protector and a temptress. Our onto tier 3, Bakunawa. The Bakunawa, a dragon from Philippine mythology, has a blend of awe and terror and is deeply rooted in the culture of the archipelago. Often seen as a colossal sea serpent, its appearances are associated with natural calamities such as eclipses, earthquakes, and extreme water conditions, which might have reflected the ancient Filipinos' attempts to understand and explain the forces of nature. This creature is described with some pretty interesting detail too. It's said to possess a mouth vast enough to engulf moons, a fiery red tongue, delicate whiskers, gill-like features, and a pair of wings. Legend has it that the Bakunawa was captivated by the beauty of 7 moons created by Bathala, a supreme deity, to illuminate the night sky. Driven by its fascination, the Bakunawa emerged from the ocean depths to consume these moons, one after another, plunging the world into darkness. This act of cosmic consumption angered Bathala, setting the stage for an eternal conflict between deity and dragon. To stop the Bakunawa from swallowing the moons entirely, ancient Filipinos would engage in communal noise-making using pans, pots, and other implements to startle the creature into releasing its celestial prey back into the heavens. Capilobo. The Capilobo is a creature from the folklore of Brazil, mostly in the states of Pará and Maranhão. This cryptid mostly features in the local lore as a vampiric entity that roams the forest at night. The creature's legend has its roots in indigenous beliefs and storytelling. The Capilobo is known to exhibit dual forms too, one animalistic, resembling a tapir but large, faster, and equipped with a shaggy coat of black fur and an anteater-like snout, and the other as a humanoid with a muscular human body topped with an anteater's head. This humanoid form retains the thick, matted fur and possesses skin so tough that bullets are said to bounce off. Despite standing hunched, it reaches a height of 2 meters. The Capilobo's presence is often indicated by its unbearable stench, powerful enough to stun those who encounter it, and its chilling screams can even paralyze with fear. Despite its predatory nature though, the Capilobo doesn't primarily hunt humans. It prefers dogs, cats, and goats, particularly the newborns. However, should a human cross its path, this is pretty creepy, but the Capilobo is said to suck their brains out or sever the carotid artery to consume their blood. Its appetite is also considered insatiable, and it hunts under the cloak of night, driven by ravenous hunger. The Capilobo is more than just a tale though to scare children. It embodies the deep-seated fears and respect the locals have for the forest and their unseen inhabitants. Also, a thing to add, according to legend, humans who choose to spend their last days in the woods might transform into these monstrous beings, forever roaming the forest as Capilobos. Dobarhu. The Dobarhu, often referred to as the water hound or massive otter, is a creature ingrained in Irish folklore. Resembling a massive otter but sometimes described with the characteristics similar to those of a dog or a seal, this creature is said to inhabit the waters of Ireland, with notable mentions of its presence in Atchill Island and Glendale Lake, among other locations. The creature's name literally translates to water dog or otter in Irish. The Dobarku is often depicted as highly aggressive too, especially towards humans and dogs. Ancient tales describe it attacking in a pair or groups, with a strategy that involves one Dobarku initiating the assault and its companions joining if the first fails. It's also known for its relentless pursuit of prey, capable of following targets through water and onto land without hesitation. Reports of the Dobarku date back to ancient Ireland, with some of the earliest written records from the 17th century. One of the most intriguing pieces of evidence supporting the existence of the Dubarku is the Kinlo stone, which serves as a memorial for a woman reportedly killed by the creature. The stone, along with the Glendale stone found in Cornwall graveyard, features carvings that depict the Dubarku, offering a tangible connection to the folklore surrounding the creature. In modern times, sightings have become really rare though, leading some to speculate that the Dubarku might be extinct or nearing extinction. However, occasional reports, such as the 2003 sighting by Irish artist Sean Corcoran and his wife on Omi Island, keep the legend alive and fuel ongoing interest in this mysterious creature. So yeah, the true nature of the Dubarku still remains a subject of speculation and debate. Some suggest that sightings could be attributed to misidentifications of known animals, such as large seals or otters exhibiting unusual behavior. Others even suggest the possibility of a prehistoric creature that has managed to survive in the secluded waters of Ireland. Ole. The Ole or Ia Napa sea monster has its presence in the waters of Ia Napa, a renowned tourist hotspot on the Mediterranean. Dubbed the friendly monster by local fishermen, the Ole has sparked curiosity and speculation for years, with numerous sightings reported around the scenic Cape Creso. Unlike the more ominous cryptids of folklore, the Ole is noted for its non-aggressive nature towards humans, though tales of it ripping and dragging away fishing nets adds an element of caution to those who venture into its domain. Described as a colossal sea serpent and dragon, the Ole's ancient depiction aligns with that of a great otter, embodying characteristics that make it both formidable and elusive. Sightings describe it as having a mouth as vast as a lake, covered with a red tongue, whiskers, and a pair of wings, one set large and ash gray and the other smaller, located further down its body. This blend of features has fueled speculation about its true actual nature, whether it be similar to a crocodile, a serpent, or something else entirely. The mythology surrounding the Ole is varied too, with some attempting to link it to the Greek mythological creature Scylla. Such connections are drawn from the mosaics in the house of Dionysus and Phafos, depicting Scylla as a giant maiden and torso with the serpent's lower body, surrounded by snarling dog heads. This imagery, while interesting, diverges from the singular entity described in modern encounters with the Ole. Efforts to uncover the truth behind the sea monster have ranged from government-led searches to features on television series such as Destination Truth. Hydrachos. The Hydrachos hoax is an interesting episode in the history of cryptids and has a cautionary tale about the allure of the unknown and the lengths to which individuals might go to capitalize on that allure. Created by Mr. Albert Koch in 1845, the Hydrachos was presented to the public as a skeleton of an actual sea serpent. Koch assembled the skeleton from the remains of several Basilosaurus, a species of prehistoric whale presumed extinct, and possibly parts of Pontogenesis. This combination was exhibited in the Apollo Saloon, where spectators could marvel at the supposed sea creature for a fee of 25 cents. Measuring 114 feet in length, the Hydrachos was an immediate sensation. However, upon closer inspection, the scientific community quickly debunked its authenticity as a single prehistoric creature. The skeleton's cetacean teeth, which had double roots fitting into double sockets, varied in age from immature to very old, a characteristic that was inconsistent with what one might expect from a single fossilized entity. This discrepancy, among other anatomical inconsistencies, led to the revelation that the Hydrachos could not possibly be a real sea serpent. Some even speculated that it might be the biblical Leviathan Koch claimed to have discovered in Alabama. Alright, on to tier 4, Kivitalk. So this one is actually really interesting. The Kivitalk of Greenland is a haunting blend of folklore and historical reality and embodies the deep-seated fears and cultural beliefs of the Greenlandic people. A Kivitalk, as described in the tales, is essentially a ghostly figure or revenant, regarded as a man who has been banished from his community. This punishment in the harsh and unforgiving landscapes of Greenland was seen as similar to a death sentence. The isolation and extreme conditions meant survival was next to impossible without the support of a community. Thus, the banished became Kivitalk, wandering eternally in the mountains, caught between life and death. These stories, while they serve as a cautionary tale for the living, are actually grounded in the sad realities of Greenlandic life in bygone days. The practice of banishment was a severe but real aspect of their justice system, serving both as a punishment for the individual and a deterrent for the community. The Kivitog then is not just a spectral entity but a reminder of the consequences of social transgression. The belief in Kivitog is also so ingrained in the culture that encounters with these ghostly figures are treated with utmost seriousness by the Greenlanders, including those who are well educated and have been exposed to various cultures around the world. One account involves a man discovering human bones under a pile of rocks, a sight not uncommon in Greenland due to its dry, cold climate which preserves remains for long periods. This account, connecting directly to the lore of the Kivitog, instills genuine fear. The fear of Kivitog extends to practical advice for those who dare to venture into the hills, with locals suggesting carrying matches, a needle, and thread. These items, seemingly mundane, are believed to offer protection or means of bartering with the Kivitog. Tizuruk. The Tizuruk is a cryptid often classified as a sea serpent, reported to inhabit the subarctic waters near King and Nunavik Islands in the Bering Sea, off Alaska's Pacific Ocean coast. This elusive creature has drawn comparisons to several known sea beings, including the Wasco, Sisotil, Stellar Sea Ape, and Cadborosaurus. Some cryptozoologists theorize the Tizuruk could be a pinniped, similar to the Antarctic leopard seal, but residing in the northern hemisphere, thereby acting as its counterpart. Accounts of the Tizuruk were first brought to broader attention by ethnologist John White, who, through interactions with King Island's inhabitants, learned of the profound respect and fear for this creature. These locals recounted tales of fatal encounters with the Tizuruk, emphasizing its dangerous nature. Later, in 1983, further anecdotes emerged from Coast Guard personnel and local communities. Speculation about the Tizuruk's true identity is varied though, with some experts like Leroy P. Mackel suggesting it could be either a type of ancient Zeuglodon or a larger northern variant of the leopard seal, distinguished perhaps by less visible forelimbs. This theory draws on similarities in how both the Tizuruk and leopard seals are said to respond to sounds made by boats. Gamahuero. The Gamahuero is a mysterious creature from the mythology of the Chiloé archipelago in Chile. Described as having the form of a calf or bull with a distinctive single horn protruding from its forehead, this cryptid has a blend of terrestrial and aquatic characteristics. According to local lore, the Gamahuero is born in freshwater environments but is driven by an innate urge to migrate towards the sea immediately after its birth, sort of like how turtles are. This journey from river to ocean is considered a really significant aspect of its life cycle. The diet of the Gamahuero is said to be carnivorous too, encompassing both fish and, in some tales, humans, which further adds to its fearsome reputation among the local populace. However, it's the Gamahuero's horn that holds the most intrigue and value. This horn is believed to possess medicinal properties capable of rejuvenating men and even has the mythical ability to give birth to another Gamahuero when planted. Such attributes make the horn a sought-after commodity, with shamans often seen in folklore as hunters of the Gamahuero, eager to harvest its horn for its potent qualities. One traditional use of the horn involves scraping shavings into a concoction of seawater and apple cider, transforming it into a mixture said to restore vitality and youthfulness in older men. This practice shows how the Gamahuero's significance is not only in the realm of mythology, but also in traditional medicine and cultural rituals. Tarasque. The Tarasque is a mythical creature deeply rooted in the folklore of Provence, France. It's characterized by its distinctive appearance, combining features of multiple animals. It possesses the body of an ox, 6 bear-like legs, a lion's face, and a turtle's thorny shell, with a scaly tail ending in a scorpion's stinger. Despite somewhat endearing short and stout physique, the Tarasque is a great dragon, described in the Golden Legend as a creature half animal, half fish, larger than an ox and longer than a horse, with sword-like teeth and horns. Originating from Galatia, the Tarasque is believed to be the progeny of the Onacus, a scaly, bison-like beast capable of setting everything it touched ablaze, and the biblical Leviathan. Its legend is closely tied to the town of Tarascon, where it was said to terrorize the populace from its dwelling in a marsh between Arles and Avignon along the Rhone River. Attempts to subdue the beast by the King of Nirluk through conventional warfare proved futile until Saint Martha, a biblical figure, managed to tame the creature using hymns and prayers. Despite being brought to the town in a pacified state, the Tarasque was killed by terrified townsfolk, leading to a collective remorse that ultimately resulted in the town's renaming to Tarascon in the creature's memory. And the Tarasque's legacy continues to be celebrated in modern culture, mostly in Tarascon, where a statue near King Rene's castle commemorates the creature. An annual festival initiated in 1469 by Rene of Anjou and recognized by UNESCO in 2005 as part of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity features a large effigy of the Tarasque paraded through the streets, symbolizing the community's historical encounter and reconciliation with the beast. Also, the Tarasque has inspired various cultural and military references, including a French anti-aircraft gun named after it and its inclusion as a formidable creature in the Dungeons & Dragons tabletop RPG. Our answer tier 5. Banyoles Monster. The Banyoles monster, a creature from legend and possibly similar to a dragon, comes from the lake of Banyoles in Catalonia, Spain. The lore surrounding the Banyoles monster traces its origins back to the 18th century, when it was said to inhabit the murky depths of Banyoles Lake, located in the Grana region of northeastern Spain. The monster, according to legend, was a menacing presence until Saint Emeterio, a French monk, managed to lure the creature from the lake using prayers. Remarkably, Saint Emeterio was able to transform this formidable beast into a peaceful herbivore. This tale suggests that the monster still resides within the lake, dwelling in its depths to this day. Over the centuries, the legend of the Banyoles monster has been added by various accounts and stories. While specific documented sightings are rare, the legend itself has served as a catalyst for local folklore, inspiring tales of encounters and narrow escapes. One particularly vivid tale from the late 7th century recounts the appearance of an aquatic dragon that terrorized the region around the lake. This dragon, covered in scales and unable to fly because of its size, reportedly attacked animals and people near the lake, hiding in a cave known as La Draga. The creature's fiery gaze and toxic breath were said to lay waste to the surrounding countryside, spreading disease and death. The narrative took a dramatic turn when Charlemagne, the legendary Frankish king, was said to have sent soldiers to confront the monster. According to legend, these soldiers met a grim fate, prompting Charlemagne himself to face the dragon. The outcome of this mythical encounter varies, with some suggesting Charlemagne nearly lost his life, while others claimed he subdued but could not kill the beast. Ultimately, it was Saint Emeterio who resolved the conflict, not through force but through faith. By drawing the creature out and declaring it harmless, Saint Emeterio not only pacified the monster, but also unveiled the true source of the disappearances attributed to it: Charlemagne's troops, who were abducting locals and consuming livestock. The legend of the Banyoles monster has now transcended its mythical origins to become a part of local culture and traditions. It's inspired songs like the 2008 children's tune El Monster de Banyoles, and continues to fuel the imagination of those who visit Lake Banyoles. Gajah Mina. The Gajah Mina is a sea cryptid from the lore of the Indonesian archipelago. Known among the seafaring Malay and Indonesian peoples, the name translates to fish elephant, distinguishing it from Gajah Lot, which means elephant seal. This creature is recognized as one of the 7 mythological animals in Balinese Hindu culture, often depicted in the form of elephant-headed fish in temple decorations and artifacts, indicating its significance since antiquity. Descriptions of the Gajah Mina typically come from coastal village elders, who claim the creature resembles a whale in size, equipped with an elephant's trunk, fur, a pair of tusks, and sometimes wide ears. These descriptions suggest that Gajah Mina inhabits deep waters, making sightings rare. The creature's skin is said to have soft fur, and fishermen reportedly fear encountering it, associating Gajah Mina with bad luck. Also, there have been notable sightings and discoveries related to Gajah Mina. For instance, in January 2005, a white furred carcass washed up on the Dungan beach in Riau, with villagers believing it to be a Gajah Mina due to its size and distinctive features, such as tusks and a thick skin. Another sighting occurred in June 2010, when a fisherman claimed to have seen a sea elephant trapped in its nets, though he did not approach the creature because of fear. In August 2013, fishermen in Subi found a floating carcass believed to be a Gajah Mina, though they only managed to retrieve its tusk after the carcass decomposed before reaching land. The most recent report came from February 2016, when a villager in Serasian island Natuna discovered a beach creature with tusks, a trunk, wide ears, and a whale-like tail. Despite plausible explanations suggesting that these sightings could be misidentified decomposing whale carcasses or even elephant seals, or possibly Syrians like dugongs, local elders and fishermen maintain their belief in the Gajah Mina's existence. They argue that their familiarity with local marine life, including the variety of whale species in the region, allows them to distinguish between known animals and the furred Gajah Mina. Lake Harrington Monster. The Lake Harrington Monster, also known to locals as the eel pig, is a mysterious creature reported to inhabit Harrington Lake in Kentucky, USA. The legend of the Lake Harrington Monster dates back to the lake's completion in 1925, with reports of the eel pig circulating since then. Among the most notable sightings, University of Kentucky professor Lawrence S. Thompson reported multiple encounters with the creature in 1972, which he detailed in an interview with the Louisville Courier. Thompson's inability to identify the creature he observed swimming in the lake multiple times contributed to the mystery of the Lake Harrington Monster. He likened its mysterious nature to the way one might regard an alligator as a monster upon first encounter. Despite sporadic sightings over the years, no conclusive evidence has been presented to confirm the existence of the Lake Harrington Monster. Speculations about its identity range from it being a misidentified alligator gar or other large fish species native to the lake to an out-of-place alligator that somehow made its way into Harrington Lake via the Mississippi and Kentucky rivers. Another intriguing theory suggests that the monster could be a prehistoric animal that survived in underground limestone caves, which were then flooded during the lake's constructions. Theories about the Lake Harrington Monster also touch on the possibility of it being an unknown species of aquatic animal that has somehow managed to elude scientific discovery. The lake's history and biodiversity provide fertile ground for such speculations, despite the lack of concrete evidence to support the existence of such a creature. Zaratan. The Zaratan, a cryptid of maritime folklore, is seen as a colossal sea turtle mistaken for a small tropical island by unsuspecting sailors. This legendary creature is described as having a vast shell and appears to be a sloped, rocky landmass, leading sailors to anchor upon it in search of sustenance. However, as night descends, the Zaratan submerges, pulling the ship and its crew to their doom. While some stories portray the Zaratan as a gigantic whale, octopus, or an immense fish struggling to reach its tail with its mouth due to sheer size, the turtle version is the most prevalent. Its feeding habits are equally fascinating too, with the Zaratan said to emit a sweet aroma to attack fish into its mouth before snapping it shut, consuming entire shoals in a single gulp. The Zaratan's mythological presence extends beyond mere stories though. It appears in the Adventures of Sinbad the Sailor and is mentioned in the Book of Imaginary Beings. Some even speculate that the Zaratan could explain the legend of Atlantis, suggesting that the creature's sudden dive could have engulfed the city, giving birth to tales of the lost continent. The Zaratan also draws parallels with the world turtle, a mythological figure believed to carry the world on its back across various cultures. Scientific explanations for the Zaratan point to sightings of prehistoric turtles, such as the massive Archelon or the even larger Stupendimus, even though neither matches the island-sized descriptions of the Zaratan. Alright, now into tier 6. Nuchlavi. The Nuchlavi, a creature from Orcadian folklore, is a fearsome demon that emerges from the Scottish Isles, being most notorious for its malevolence without a shred of goodness. Originating from the Orkney Islands of Scotland, its name is believed to have evolved from Nuchlavi, which itself is derived from Nok or Nuggle, linking it to the Icelandic Nikur. This formidable entity is described as the epitome of evil among Scottish island demons, possessing powers that bring about widespread destruction. During the summer, it's said that the Nuchlavi is confined to the ocean's depths by the Mitr o te Sea, a deity who holds sway over its movements. The Nuchlavi's presence is overall a harbinger of disaster, with attributes like its breath alone being toxic enough to ruin crops, cause drought, and spread disease among both livestock and humans. Notably, the creature detests the smell of burning seaweed used in kelp production, which incites its rage, leading to devastating consequences such as killing livestock. The only being capable of restraining its fury is the Mitr o te Sea. In terms of appearance, the Nuchlavi is a mix of horse and human features. It stands nearly 6 feet tall at the horse's head and about 9 feet at the humanoid head, weighing close to 2,000 pounds. The most chilling aspect of its appearance is its lack of skin, revealing black blood coursing through yellow veins and exposed, quivering muscles and sinews. It's said that to escape a Nuclevi's wrath, one can utilize its aversion to fresh water, being crossing a stream can provide safety from its pursuit. Additionally, it's reluctant to venture ashore during rainfall, offering another means to avoid its terror. Nixie. In Scandinavian folklore, the Nixie is seen as a male water spirit with a remarkable talent for playing the violin, using its enchanting music to lure people, especially women and children, into the water, eventually leading to their demise. However, not all narratives see the Nixie in a bad light. Some stories suggest a more nuanced character capable of forming bonds with humans, but still often with tragic ends. The shape-shifting ability of the Nixie is a central theme to it too, with the creature able to appear as a mesmerizing man playing the violin by the water, a treasure or object floating on the water, or even as an animal, most notably in the form of a brook horse. This latter, guys, is particularly fascinating because it connects the Nixie to the broader European folklore of water horses, like we just mentioned before. The brook horse in Scandinavian tales lures individuals to ride on its back before plunging into the water with them, and I remember talking about it in a previous video too. The legend reflects the inherent dangers associated with waters in folklore, symbolizing both the nurturing and destructive powers of nature. In Germanic renditions, the Nix and Nixie, with these beings capable of assuming human, fish, or snake forms. The lore surrounding these figures is covered with tales of seduction, transformation, and the thin line between the enchanting and the deadly. Like their Scandinavian counterparts, the German Nixies at times offer aid or knowledge to humans, while at other times lead them to their doom. So that ends the video. I hope you all enjoyed. I'll have part 3 as soon as possible, and let me know any feedback in the comments, and thank you for watching. Bye.